My boss only asked me one simple question. Abigail, why did you come in a taxi today? And right before I could answer, my husband stepped in and said something that exposed a secret I had been covering for weeks. In that moment, inside a glass conference room full of people, my marriage, my job, and the truth I had been avoiding all collided at once. I still remember the way that morning felt: heavy, confusing, and strangely quiet. I woke up before the alarm, the same way I always did. I slipped out of bed carefully, trying not to wake Owen. He hated when I made noise early in the morning. The sun hadn't risen yet, but the faint glow through the curtains reminded me it was another long day ahead of me. I walked out of the bedroom and into the kitchen. The house was silent. I made my usual cheap, instant coffee, the one Owen always complained about, and stared out the window at the empty driveway. 3 weeks. That's how long my company car had been missing. 3 weeks of excuses, 3 weeks of Uber rides, and 3 weeks of pretending everything was fine. I kept telling myself I was overthinking, that it was just temporary, that Charlotte, his sister, really needed it. But deep down, I knew I was shrinking piece by piece, day by day. And today, something in my gut told me things wouldn't stay hidden for much longer. After getting ready, I grabbed my bag and ordered another Uber. As I stepped outside, the cool morning breeze brushed against my face. I took a long breath, trying to calm the heaviness sitting in my chest. When I reached the office, everyone seemed to be in their usual routines. I walked down the hallway, practicing the same excuse I had been giving my boss for almost a month. The car is in the shop, or it's with maintenance. I wasn't sure how many times I could keep lying. Little did I know, today was the day everything would break open. As I reached the conference room, I saw Elena, my boss, standing by the glass door. Her expression wasn't angry. It was curious, concerned. That made it worse. "Good morning, Abigail," she said warmly. "Morning," I whispered, trying to smile. She tilted her head slightly. "Why did you come in a taxi today?" My heart stopped. The question I had been terrified of. Before I could open my mouth, before I could decide whether to lie again or finally admit the truth, the door opened behind me. Owen walked in. He shouldn't even have been on this floor. HR was on the opposite side of the building. But he walked in confidently, as if he belonged there. He smiled, that fake polished HR smile he used for everyone, except me. "Elena," he greeted her. "Good to see you." She nodded politely, but kept her eyes on me. Abigail didn't seem to have her company car today. I felt my throat closing. I tried to speak. I swear I tried. But Owen jumped in. "Oh, that," he said casually, stepping beside me as if he owned the room. "Her sister has the car right now." The words dropped like a bomb. Elena blinked. Her sister? Then she gave me a look, a single sharp look that told me she understood something was off. Owen continued, shrugging like it was nothing.
Elena pulled out a chair and gestured for me to sit. Her face had shifted from professional curiosity to something more serious, something protective. I sat down slowly, my hands shaking, trying to hold myself together. I wasn't used to anyone noticing me. Not like this. "Abigail," she said softly. "How long has this been going on?" I looked down at my hands. 3 weeks, I whispered. "Maybe a little more." Her eyebrows pulled together. "And you didn't report it?" I swallowed. I didn't want to cause trouble. I didn't want anyone to think I wasn't responsible. Elena exhaled slowly. "You were given that vehicle for a reason. You earned it." The word earned hit me harder than I expected. It wasn't a word I heard often. Not at home, not from Owen, not from anyone. I tried to steady my voice. I know, I just felt stuck. Elena leaned forward. "Abigail, you need to understand something. This isn't a small issue. A company car is legal liability. If anything had happened, you would have been blamed, not your sister-in-law. My chest tightened. I didn't authorize it. I didn't want her taking it. When I walked out of the conference room, my legs felt unsteady, like the carpet beneath me wasn't real. I needed air, space, anything other than the pressure that had been building inside me for weeks, maybe months. I headed straight toward the restroom. The moment the door closed behind me, I grabbed the edge of the sink and finally let my breath out. My reflection stared back at me, tired eyes, shaking hands, a face that didn't look like someone who once believed she was strong. For a moment, I didn't hear anything. My thoughts were loud enough. How did I let things get this far? How did I let him convince me this was my fault? I closed my eyes. And that's when the past 3 weeks came crashing back. It started the morning after the company announced my promotion. I came home excited, truly excited, for the first time in months. Owen was sitting at the dining table scrolling through his phone. "I got the promotion," I told him, smiling. He didn't look up. "Yeah? Good. Good?" I repeated softly. He sighed dramatically, finally raising his eyes. "Abigail, it's not that big of a deal. Don't act like you became the CEO." My smile faded. "I didn't say that." He shrugged. "You do this thing where you get too excited about small things." That was the first time I felt myself shrink. The next morning, the company presented me with the car, a brand new, clean, reliable vehicle. I had worked so hard for it. I drove it home with pride, thinking maybe Owen would celebrate with me. But when I walked into the house, he didn't even stand up. "You didn't tell me it was going to be that model," he said, sounding annoyed. I set the keys on the table. "I didn't know. They surprised me." He rolled his eyes. "You couldn't even get a color I liked?" I stared at him, shocked. "It's not your car." He didn't respond, just walked out of the room. That night, Charlotte came over. She complimented the car, loudly, repeatedly, and I could see Owen's face shift into that expression he had, the one he got when he wanted something but didn't want to ask. You know, the manipulative silence. Later, when I went outside to get something from the back seat, the car was gone. Completely gone. I panicked. I ran inside. "Owen, where's the car?" He looked at me with irritation. "Relax, Charlotte needed it." "You took it without telling me?" He scoffed. "It's not that serious, Abigail. Stop being dramatic." I felt my throat tighten. "I need that car for work." He threw his hands up. "Here we go again. You always make everything about you." That night, I cried quietly in the bathroom while the shower ran, the only place he couldn't hear me. The restroom door at work suddenly opened, bringing me back to the present. I quickly wiped my eyes as Elena stepped inside. She didn't say anything at first. She just stood beside me, giving me space. "You don't have to apologize," she said finally, gently. "I'm not. I'm just trying to breathe." The drive home that evening felt heavier than usual. I sat in the back of another Uber, watching the city blur outside the window. My phone buzzed over and over again in my bag. Owen, of course. Dozens of missed calls and messages. Most of them were variations of the same thing. "Where are you? Why didn't you answer? We need to talk now. Don't embarrass me at work again." By the time the Uber pulled into my neighborhood, my stomach felt twisted. The sun was setting, casting a soft orange glow across the houses. Everything looked peaceful on the outside, but inside, I felt like I was walking straight into a storm. When I entered the house, it was silent. Scary silent. I set my bag down and walked slowly toward the living room. Owen was standing there, arms crossed, jaw clenched so tight I could see the muscle in his cheek twitch.
"There you are," he said sharply. "Do you know how ridiculous you made me look today?" I froze. "I didn't mean—" "You never mean anything, Abigail, but you always manage to ruin everything." My throat tightened. I wanted to defend myself. I wanted to tell him he crossed a line, that he had no right to take the car, no right to speak over me. But when I opened my mouth, nothing came out. He laughed coldly. "You think you're a victim? Is that what you told your boss? That I'm some kind of monster?" "No," I whispered. "I didn't say that." "What did you say?" he demanded. I looked down. "The truth." Owen stepped closer, his voice lowering into something more dangerous. "The truth, according to you, is always dramatic, always one-sided. You're lucky I even defend you at work." Defend me? He had ruined everything for me. I swallowed hard. "Owen, you shouldn't have given the car to Charlotte. It wasn't yours to—" He slammed his hand on the table, making me flinch. "Don't you dare tell me what I can or can't do. You're my wife. You follow my lead, not the other way around." A cold chill ran through me. He wasn't yelling, but somehow this was worse. "Owen, Elena said this is a serious problem." "Elena?" he repeated with a bitter laugh. "So now you're taking her side against your own husband?" "It's not about sides. It is. It's always about sides with you. Always about you playing the victim." Tears burned behind my eyes, but I tried to blink them away. I didn't want to cry. Not in front of him. Not today. "What do you want me to say?" I asked softly. "I'm trying." "Try harder," he said, stepping closer. "Fix this. Fix the mess you created." My heart sank. The mess I created? I had done everything to protect him, lied for him, covered for him, lost my own confidence because of him. I felt something inside me break. "I can't do this anymore," I whispered. He froze. "What did you just say?" "I can't keep pretending everything is normal. I can't be the only one trying." The cold evening air hit my face the moment I stepped outside. I walked quickly down the driveway, clutching my bag like it was the only solid thing holding me together. My heart was racing, but each step felt lighter than the one before it. Elena had sent me the address of a hotel the company used for employees in emergencies. I ordered an Uber and waited at the corner, not wanting Owen to see me still standing near the house. When the car arrived, I climbed in and finally allowed myself to exhale. As the city lights passed by, I pressed my forehead against the window. I didn't feel free yet, just in motion, like my life was shifting, piece by piece, without asking me first. When I reached the hotel, Elena was already waiting in the lobby. Seeing her there made something inside me break again, not in a painful way, but in a way that felt like relief. She walked up to me gently. "You did the right thing." I nodded, my voice shaky. "It doesn't feel like it yet." "It will," she assured me. "You made a brave choice." She helped me check in and walked me to the elevators. "Rest tonight. Tomorrow we're going to figure this out together." The elevator doors closed and I felt the weight of the day crash down on me. When I reached the room, I put my bag on the bed and sat down slowly, staring at the quiet space around me. For the first time in years, the silence didn't feel threatening. I showered, changed, and finally allowed myself to sleep. Really sleep, without fear of footsteps outside the door, without arguments waiting in the next room, without tension pressing down on my chest. The next morning, I woke up to a message from Elena. "We need you at the office at 10 a.m. Legal will be present." My stomach dropped. This was it. The moment everything would come to a head. I got dressed carefully, tied my hair back, and took a deep breath before leaving the hotel. At the office, Elena met me in the hallway. "Are you ready?" "No," I admitted. "But I'll do it anyway." She smiled softly. "That's all that matters." We walked into the large conference room together. Mark, the legal advisor, was already seated. A few minutes later, Owen walked in with that familiar cold confidence, but something in his expression faltered when he saw the file in Mark's hands. Owen sat across from me, crossing his arms. Can someone explain why I'm here? Mark opened the folder calmly. We've reviewed security logs, vehicle usage records, and internal communication. There are several discrepancies involving the company car assigned to Abigail. He smirked. Discrepancies? Charlotte needed transportation. It's not the end of the world. Mark's tone hardened. This is not about transportation. This is about unauthorized use of company property, HR misconduct, and conflict of interest.